I'm Mungo Dark Matter, and welcome to Dark Matters. Today on Dark Matters, we're going to discuss how to upload videos to YouTube faster. Now I'm going to take a slightly different approach than some of the videos that are out there, because I'm going to talk about the entire workflow and how to speed up getting your video up onto YouTube after you shoot it. Because what can happen is you may speed up part of the process where you're uploading the video, but other parts of the process may take longer, so you might not really be gaining anything. So there are two paths you can kind of take when you're producing a video for YouTube. One is you shoot the video in one take. You're not doing any titles or any special editing to it. So you shoot the video, it's basically ready to upload. In that case, you're going to want to convert it to a format that's the best format to upload before you upload it. And we'll talk about that second. The other path you might go is you may edit multiple different takes together, put special effects in, have multiple scenes, have titles, and so you want to edit the video from multiple videos and put it into one video and have some extra media in there and such. So we'll talk about that first. Right now I have Sony Vegas Movie Studio version 12 open, and I have a video here that I've edited together from a couple different videos, and I have a title here and everything. So it's ready to be rendered. Now when you edit a video, you have to render it so that all of the pieces of the video that you've edited together are kind of spliced into one file. And you want that file to be the format that's the best format for your use, whether you're uploading it to YouTube or burning a DVD or using it for some other purpose. When you shoot your videos, always shoot them in the highest quality with the least compression, because you can always go from a higher quality to a lower quality when you're doing a version of a file for a particular use, but you can never go to a higher quality than the master or the original that you shot. For example, if you're using a camcorder, you might want to shoot in 1080p if it supports it, and the file format you'll probably be using is AVC HD, which is the standard high definition file format for high definition digital videos. That format's also used to create Blu-ray DVDs, so it's high resolution. The tendency is, the less compressed something is, probably the better quality it is, because when you compress things, you tend to lose data because you're trying to figure out schemes or algorithms to use up less space. So you may lose some detail when you compress stuff. The highest quality is always going to be like where every pixel is recorded separately in a file format, because that way you don't even lose a single pixel. All the pixels that were originally recorded are going to come back. When you compress it, some of those pixels may be averaged out, because it may be with the file compression format, it says, oh, this green's really close to this green, I'm going to make this green, and nobody will notice if I turn this pixel from green to blue or what have you. So the least compression, no compression, is probably the optimal always, and the higher resolution is always the optimal. But when you're using a file for a particular purpose, compression may be necessary or may be optimal, because the size of the file will take up less space, and it will transmit over the internet faster, for example, if you're using YouTube. Alright, so now we've got everything ready, and we're going to render it. Now the other thing to remember also is, when you're rendering from a video editing software, the more stuff you do in it, the more titles, the more different special effects and stuff, it's going to take more time to render that video. The other thing is, the closer your format is to the final format, with your video after you've edited it, the faster it's going to render. So for example, if you want your final format to be MPEG, you might not necessarily want to shoot the video in MPEG because MPEG is going to compress it, so it won't be the highest quality. So you may shoot it in AVC HD format, which is a standard high definition format for a camcorder, and you may convert it before you edit it if you determine that it's faster to convert it. And I'm going to show you how to convert a file from one format to another after we go over this section of the video. So be aware of that. Now, if you're shooting with a webcam, it's probably going to put it into MPEG format, or it may be putting it in an MPEG format, and so that might be quicker for you to convert it to MPEG, because when the video editing software renders the software, it creates the titles, that takes a little bit of time. And if it has a segment of video and it's the same compression that it's going to come out, it doesn't have to do any work to compress it. It leaves the video pretty much the same and just adds it into the file. So it's much quicker. The other way to speed up the rendering is to get a faster machine, and that's probably one of the best ways to do it, because you can't always have the file format in the same format it's coming out. And even if you converted it into the same format and then pushed it out, it's probably not going to save you any time. So pretty much when you edit the video, you can experiment with converting to different formats and stuff before you edit it, but probably you're going to use the raw format that you shot it in, which should be the highest quality, because the rendering will take care of the conversion. So unless you have a really fast conversion format or a really fast conversion piece of software, you're probably not going to pick up any time doing that. So just be aware of that. Now I'm going to go to rendering up here just to show you. We're going to go render as. Now the best format to upload in YouTube is MP4. And some people may tell you, oh, MP4 is not as good as MPEG. MP4 is MPEG. It's the latest version of it. It's version 4. There's MPEG 2, which is an older version of the MPEG format. The MPEG 4 actually has a better compression ratio than MPEG 2. So it's going to upload faster. And so it can be kind of confusing, because if you go into a program such as Sony Vegas, you'll see there's a bunch of different MPEG formats. Make sure it's MPEG 4, and we're going to pick 720p right here. 720p is a better format to upload to YouTube, even though YouTube can take 1080p resolution. Most people can't really handle that with their connections currently in their machines, and it's kind of slow. And it can really slow down uploading the video as well. 720p is very good quality. 1080 is better, but from what you gain, you're losing in some speed. So 720 right now is probably the optimal resolution to be producing the video, or the final cut of the video, for uploading to YouTube. I'm going to go to the template here to show you some of these things about this. First of all, this is a 720p high definition frame size. The frame rate is 29.97, which is like slightly slower than 30 frames per second. YouTube actually uses 30 frames per second, so if you produce the final video in 30 frames per second or 29.97 frames per second, it will work well. 29.97 is the kind of standard TV frame rate or whatever. So don't be that concerned with that. Down here is encode mode. you want to use, it says use CPU only. You probably want to use rendering OpenCL because that will use your graphics card to speed up the process. Let me see if there's anything else on here. Those are the most important things I think you have to look at in here. And the fact that this is MPEG 4. You want to make sure it's MP4 format. And let me close out on this. Alright, so that's the way you would render it out of Sony Vegas. Alright, now let's take a look at this program here, and it's called Freemaker Video Converter. And I will put a link to that in the description of this video below. This is a free file converter program if you want to convert files from one format to another. I'm going to just pick a video here at random. Where is one right here? Alright, here's one that would be converted. I'm going to open this up. The nice thing about this program is it will tell you what format exactly the original video is and all that. Now you're going to pick one of these to convert it to. If you convert it to MPEG, it's going to be MPEG 2. You want to go to MP4, which is MPEG version 4. And you want to go up here and you want to select 720p. That's going to be the optimal for uploading to YouTube. So that will change the resolution to 720p if you have a higher resolution than that, or if it's a different resolution than that. So like if your original video is 1080p or higher, like if it's a video capture, it might be higher, then it will convert it to that format. And so then you're going to just go here and select what folder you want it into, and it's going to rename the file with just a new extension on the end. And you're going to hit convert here, and depending on how long the video is, it will tell you how long it's run here, what percentage is done. It's going to take a few minutes at least, depending on the size of the video. The longer the video, the longer it will take. So it will produce the video for you. It will convert the video and it will save it for you. And once that process is done, you can upload the video. So the best format is MP4 using 720p resolution. Now, when you upload the file, you want to make sure you use Google Chrome, because Google owns YouTube. Chrome actually is the best browser to upload in. It's going to upload faster typically than Internet Explorer. So just cancel out of that, and we're going to go to Google Chrome here. Alright, so I'm already on the upload section of YouTube, and I'm going to click on this to show you. I have a couple different file formats here. Let me make sure I've got the right one. Now this is MPEG 2, and if I click on here, this video says that it's 766 megabytes. Now that's really pretty big, but the original video that we got it from is this one right here, which is 4 gigabytes. The original is an AVI format, and so it's 4 gigabytes. So it's gone down to 677 megabytes, which is a pretty big chunk. Now the size of the video is obviously going to make a lot of difference in uploading it, because the bigger the file, the longer it's going to take to upload. Alright, now we're going to look at an MP4 of the same file, and it's 188 megabytes. So that's less than a third of that. But it gets better than that, because this file was taken from Fraps, which captures the screen, and it's at a higher resolution. So when we move it down from the higher resolution, screen resolution that it was at, to 720p over here, we get 129 megabytes. So it's taken another 50 megabytes off. So this is the actual optimal format right here, MP4 with 720p, and we've gone down from like almost 4 gigabytes to 129 megabytes. That's going to save a lot of time. Now, if we look at, we won't look at the original because that's going to take a long time to upload, but we'll look at the difference between the MPEG 2 version. If we try to upload that first, I'm going to get starting upload, and it's going to start to calculate out. It's going to drop down a little bit. So it's saying it's going to take around 25 minutes right here. 25, 26, it's going back and forth. We're going to cancel that. Now we're going to go back and we're going to upload again, and we're going to go back to the MPEG 4 version, which is at 720p. We're going to open that up, and it's going to estimate, and you can see it's down 5 to 5 minutes. So that's 5 minutes from 25 minutes. That's a big jump. It's at 1/5 of the time it's going to take to download it. I'm going to cancel that, and we're going to go back to upload, and we'll do one more. We'll go back to the original file, which is the AVI file, which is 4 gigabytes. How long is that going to take? Well, it's calculating it out here. Give it a minute. 149 minutes. 148 minutes. So that's saved us an immense amount of time. So we've gone from 148, 150. It's going up now a little bit, it looks like. So we've gone up from like over 3 hours, it says it would take to upload this, down to 5 minutes. So, and this time changes, it's calculating it. The bigger the file, it's hard to tell accurately because it's going to go up and down, and it's going to take a while. It might take longer depending on other factors. And there's one final factor that you may want to look into. Right now I'm uploading this with a hard wired connection to my computer. There's wireless too, and I have a wireless card in my computer. I could have used wireless, but the hardwired connection may be more consistent for you. It may actually speed things up, because if you're using wireless, there are things that can interfere with it, and it can slow down depending on if there's other interference going on. So a hardwired connection is probably going to be a little faster for you than a Wi-Fi connection, depending on your Wi-Fi connection and your router and a few other things. So I would recommend using a hardwired connection and MP4 format, 720p resolution, and use Google Chrome to upload your video, and those things should speed up the entire process. So each of those things adds to it. Chrome is the fastest browser to upload your video with. MP4 is going to be the fastest video format to upload in general, and using a wired connection instead of a wireless connection. I'm Mungo Dark Matter, and this has been Dark Matters, and whatever you do, enjoy technology.